Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Gumball Sports Machine. Today is July 9th. This should be also uploaded on July 9th. We'll see. That is going in the video. I cannot wait for everybody to see that face. I don't think I've ever seen that face from Kevin. But very special episode today. I'm very excited. We have all four of us here. Look who's in that top right. Oh, dude, look at D-Lo, man. So inspirational, dude. I'm sorry.
I don't know if I've ever seen you that excited for anything in life. So
dude, look at that, dude. D-Lo's back from Japan. He made it all right. Apparently, he has COVID. So.
I did. I am COVID positive right now. So,
well, besides that, how's Japan?
bro, it was great. The food there is a million times better than it is here. I will never eat another steak again here.
The Wagyu.
No, the Kobe is crazy there.
Oh, the Kobe beef?
Yeah, it's so crazy.
What did you just say? The Kobe? It's Kobe.
It's Kobe.
It's Kobe. I've never, bro. See, you go to Japan.
Here it's Kobe. There it's Kobe.
All right, bro. Tell me a sentence in Japanese.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So it's Kobe then. Yeah.
No,
I'm not good. No. You're.
That's how it's pronounced. It's a pronunciation difference. Different.
Did you say arigato a lot over there?
Oh, you say it everywhere.
What about itagatimasu?
Does it have something to do with like a cat or something?
Bruh,
No,
it means thank you.
Oh, of course you know that.
Hey, bro, he's so racist. I swear.
Yeah.
How is that? That's not racist. That's not racist.
Gato is cat in Spanish, right? That's why you said that.
Right. Forgot about that.
I think that's what that is. I don't speak Spanish, so.
No, really, you could have fooled me.
Yeah, but it was great, for sure.
No. That's on a serious note. That's actually fire, bro. Going to Japan, and that's one thing outside of the country. Kevin and John, I don't know if you guys have been outside of the country, but food outside of the country is 100,000 times better than it is here. It's
so much better.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, it's so much better. So
it's pretty fun.
But like I said, very excited today, man. Very excited because, like I said, it is all four. And in that bottom right is John.
Hey.
I'm the what is the mixed martial artist.
Yes, sir. Future mixed martial artist.
Future he will be at UFC
400. My goal
400.
Like in all reality, I do want to fight on 400. That's like a goal. But yeah, right there. I want to fight on UFC 400.
Oh, well, welcome back, brother. Very, very happy. Again, dude, I'm so excited to have all of you here. And then in the bottom left, we have the model citizen, the great guy, great brethren, Kevin Wynn.
Yeah, go ahead and keep using that little finger pointing upwards right there.
Oh, definitely will. Think that's a great guy. I think we're going to talk a little bit more about that in about 10 minutes or so. But on a serious note, we are back. I'm so very happy to have all three of my guys here. The three guys who will consistently be on the full show. So very happy about that. But as we do every day, or not every day apparently anymore, but every show, the first segment of the show, we go over the top stories of the weekend, of the day, whatever it is. That segment is called Something That You Want. All right. Paul George obviously has signed with the Philadelphia 76ers during this free agency, but he had a few other options. The first one was, of course, to stay in LA. And his plan was to actually stay in LA with the Clippers, but he says he felt disrespected when he had asked the Clippers to just give him what Kawhi got. Kawhi got a 3-year, $153 million extension about a month or two ago. And Paul George is asking if he can get the same thing. Clippers wouldn't budge. They wouldn't give it to him. Obviously, Paul George ended up leaving for Philly. Kev, I'm going to start with you. Should the Clippers have paid Paul George the same amount as Kawhi to try and keep him?
They honestly should have, because there's no reason why you bring back James Harden as well. If you're just gonna not let go of Paul George, because you basically take away Paul George out from the Clippers. You're stuck with Kawhi and Harden. Yes, those two guys are still good. They're not in the primes anymore. That's the only problem. And you're not going to be able to win, especially in the West when it's so stacked over there. And then losing Paul George is an even bigger loss, especially with the availability of Kawhi and Harden also not playing every single game throughout the season anymore. He's not like that no more. I was kind of hoping that they were able to get DeRozan to kind of fill in the missing space with the Paul George departure, but we know how that went. Him going to Sacramento, so it's a big loss for the Clippers, and it's a big gain for the Sixers because now they are in conversations for being a top 3 team in the East, in my opinion.
Go ahead, D'Lo.
I don't even know what the Clippers are doing at this point. I mean, if you ask me, Paul George was their best player, and Jamal, you say it all the time. Availability is key, and obviously Kawhi is the better player, but he's never on the floor, especially when it matters. He has not played a playoff series fully since 2020 in the bubble for them.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
So I don't understand why they would let him go for nothing. I don't know if you guys saw the report, but he wanted to go to Golden State at first and do a sign and trade there, but the Clippers were not willing to send him there. And so he left and he walked to Philly for free, for nothing. They got nothing in return. And so obviously they re-signed James Harden. They were, I think, looking at DeRozan, expecting him to come to an LA team, and then ended up going to Sacramento, like Kevin said. But to let him just walk for nothing, I think is really a bad business move for them. But I imagined him leaving anyway. The Clippers aren't going to be doing anything, even though I thought that they were going to win the playoffs last year, like win it all last year. That was my prediction if they stayed healthy, and they didn't. So it's just hard. But I definitely think that they should have gave him his money either through the sign and trade or just to keep him rather than just letting him walk. So
What you think, John?
I agree. I agree with D'Lo as well. I feel like it's just terrible business. With PG, he's a guy who still is a very, he's still very, very solid. He's a very good player, especially he's very, availability is the best. I do agree with D'Lo there. Kawhi's just never on the floor, man. Like you never really get to see Kawhi cook. Paying James Harden was a bit weird as well. I do think that's odd if you're going to pay James Harden. I think also bringing back PG, I think that's in the best interest. I don't feel like that team is anywhere close enough to compete. It just feels like a disaster waiting to happen, especially since they just don't have any picks. I mean, I like what they're doing with a lot of the rebrand, and I think Steve Ballmer's doing a good job, but I just think this is a terrible decision letting PG walk for nothing, essentially, especially going to a team like the Sixers where I feel like, I mean, anything's possible, especially in the East. You got Maxey, you got Joel, now PG on that team, and you're asking PG to just be there, at least just be there, because we've seen what Maxey can do, and just taking the load off Joel, that's going to help his availability in the long run. So I think the Sixers got pretty lucky. Clippers, man, what are you doing? Terrible, just terrible.
I just so happen to disagree with every single one of you. If I'm the Clippers, I'm telling Paul George, see you later, alligator. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. I will see you later. It doesn't work. Didn't work. Paul George and Kawhi did not work. And if it hasn't worked this long, it will not work. Now, bringing back James Harden for $35 million a year for the next 2 years is absolutely insane to me. He's not nearly the same player he was or has been within the past 3 or 4 years. So I don't know what they're doing with that. But you still have Kawhi, who is a fantastic basketball player. But like you guys mentioned, availability is the best ability. And that has not even been close to anything resembling Kawhi Leonard. Every time the Clippers absolutely need him most, he gets hurt. That's just been Kawhi's kind of a reputation over not only just like these years, but it kind of started in 2017, I believe, when Zaza Pachulia, of course, stepped under him on a 3, rolled his ankle, and he's kind of been hurt ever since then. Let Paul George walk. It hasn't worked. It's not going to work. You need to bring in another star alongside Kawhi, and I guess they're thinking that's James Harden. I thought they were also going to bring in DeMar DeRozan, and we're going to get into that here in a few minutes as well. It doesn't work. Doesn't work. So having Paul George, bringing him back on a huge deal like that, committing yourself to Paul George, who, again, is also not the most available player in the world and who's also aging. So I think that the best decision for the Clippers was for PG to walk. And again, don't really care where he went. Obviously, they cared a little bit by not sending him to Golden State to pair up alongside Steph after the departure of Klay Thompson. But I think that was the best move for PG, honestly. But for PG and the Clippers. So again,
disagree.
Didn't work.
That's a bad take. That's a terrible take. Listen, even if they didn't want him, you should have gotten value for him. All right, he should have been signed and trade to Golden State. You could have got Kuminga, Pods, any of the young guys over there. Hell, maybe even a Draymond or a Clay who is on the way out the door. Right? You could have gotten value for him. And that's the issue. Not the fact that he left, the fact that they didn't get anything in return for him leaving.
But, okay, I don't necessarily disagree with that. But at the same time, you also have to realize the NBA is a very competitive league. Sports in general are very competitive leagues. There's a reason why you never see trades within the division in the NFL. And now, the divisions in the NBA aren't nearly as competitive, but it's more conference. So if you're sending a Paul George to the Warriors, who's going to make them a better team, possibly a better team than you are, even though you still have Kawhi, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Now, again, if you are able to get something back in return for him, I guess I understand that, but let him walk. Let him walk, no matter what. That should be the number one focus. Whether you get something in return for him or not, get him out. Because it doesn't work, and you're paying him $40 million a year to either be hurt in the playoffs or to suck in the playoffs. And I'll tell you what, that won't win you a championship ring. I guarantee. Charles Barkley style. Next up, John Cena. John Cena announces that he will be retiring in 2025. I know Kev and John are big WB fans. I don't know, D-Lo. Obviously, I know you know who John Cena is. He did announce this weekend at Money in the Bank that he will be retiring on like a farewell tour in 2025 from January to about December. So John, I'll start with you. I know you're a WWE fan. So what are like some of the memories that you have, with John Cena and watching him growing up?
Man, my first memory of John Cena growing up was for sure just like Super Cena, him just winning and just beating everybody, bro. Like I it's kind of what turned me off a little bit, but it's also what kind of put me on to like CM Punk, because CM Punk was kind of like the guy's like, oh, he doesn't really mess with John Cena because he respects John Cena, but he's not like kissing John Cena's ass or whatever. So he's cool. He doesn't mess with Vince. So my original memory was that banger that Cena and CM Punk put on, where they used to just wrestle classics, bro. I need to see them wrestle again. Definitely one more time. Definitely need to see him wrestle Randy one more time. That has to be his farewell match. He has to wrestle Randy for his farewell. If he doesn't wrestle Randy in the farewell, then Triple H, what are you doing? You've been so good to Papa H, but you got to let him wrestle Randy in his goodbye. Those guys have to be linked together forever.
What you think, Kev? How you feel, and what are some of the memories that you have with John Cena?
It's sad to see a legend, possibly even the greatest of all time, retiring from the industry, from the business. It's good to see that he did say he's going to have a couple more matches in before he officially retires. So every single match from this point on is going to be very big. I do agree with John about the matches that I want to see. I do want to see a Randy match, possibly another CM Punk feud. But my memories of Cena was definitely the Super Cena, where it would always be he'd always be the one, like, he would start off hot, and then halfway through the match he'd be beaten up, like battered, destroyed, and then now no, he just gains like superpowers, and he just does the 5 moves of doom, and I'm like, there you go, typical Cena right there. But that's a
It
Cena
comes
I
back.
grew up loving, like, and that's gonna be my favorite wrestler of all time. My memories, it would have to be with two. Well, actually three that stand out the most was the feud with Randy throughout his whole entire career. It's like the greatest villain versus the greatest hero. That's like a story that everyone wants to see. Um, Cena with the Nexus as well. Like, when the Nexus first came into
That's a
the
good one.
whole industry, I hated them so much. So when Cena created that Avengers super team, it was amazing to see. And then the story of Cena losing to Rock the previous year at WrestleMania, coming back with his comeback story and beating him at Mania the following year for the title. That was also another memory that I will always cherish forever as well.
D'Lo, what you got? How you feel about John Cena retiring?
I'm not huge on the WWE. It's not for me personally. But his entrance theme is
Oh,
man,
legendary.
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 That's all I got.
No, it's all good. I kind of knew you weren't like the biggest like WWE
I'm
fan.
more UFC for me. Yeah,
That's my
definitely more
guy.
You know what?
UFC.
If we have time a little bit, it's not UFC, but if we have time a little bit at the end of the show, I don't know if you guys did watch it, but that Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal fight.
Yeah,
We can get into that a little bit at the end of the show. But yeah, man, John Cena's the GOAT. John Cena's the GOAT. Not always. I got into WWE when I was about 10 or 11. Me and my brother, we always watched it. And we always play the games and things like that. So watching John Cena growing up was special, man. Then being able to watch him do as much as he did going throughout his career was really awesome. And he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. He's the best to ever do it. I don't care what anybody says. People have Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair and even currently Roman Reigns, guys like that. To me, it's just John Cena, what he did for the company, man. It's crazy to see. But I think my favorite feud of all time is Cena and Punk. Cena and Punk is undefeated, man. Undefeated. Cena and Orton is up there. Kevin mentioned it. Cena and
For
Batista.
the Punk and Cena thing, it's the promos, like that. Those promos that they would
Yeah,
have
it was
are always amazing.
always. Oh, they're both fantastic on the mic at all times, at any point in time. So yeah, Cena Punk, Cena Edge is another really, really good one. But John Cena, what he's kind of done for WWE, unmatched. So he's definitely the GOAT in my book, for sure, man. So, and it was sad to see. I was watching Money in the Bank on Saturday, and when he came out, I was surprised. He did the same thing last year. And I was surprised. I'm sure, like a lot of other people. And to hear him kind of mention retirement is kind of like heartbreaking because, like, damn, like my childhood is really gone now, or on its way out. But such is life. Father Time is
We're reaching
indeed
Unk
undefeated.
status, y'all.
We're reaching Unk status, bro. It's getting wild, man. But real quick, I did want to touch on this. DeMar DeRozan goes to the Sacramento Kings in a sign and trade with the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls get like Harrison Barnes and I think like a second round pick or something like that. I believe they got another player too, but
Chris Duarte.
That's right, Chris Duarte. That's right. DeMar DeRozan is now a Sacramento King. John, I'm gonna start with you, man. Does this make Sacramento a true contender in the West to try and come out of the West?
It doesn't make them a true contender, but it definitely makes them a fun basketball team to watch. I love the way that the Kings play basketball. It's a very different brand of basketball. You kind of know about the Kings lore. Kings, they play like that piston shin. It's like the OG Kings basketball. So it'll be interesting to see as DeMar's like dynamic. He's going to work fine in that basketball dynamic because he's great in the mid range, and I think he'll be really nice on a lot of these like. They do a lot of pin downs and they run like a lot of really cute stuff. So I think DeMar's going to cook in that offense, but I don't think it pushes them over the edge. I think they'll be like a top 5 team. The only way they really get there, I feel like, is if a lot of injuries happen in the West. But I mean, the Kings will be fun. It'll be fun. I think Kings fans will enjoy it. They actually have some basketball to look forward to for a while as well these past couple of years. Light the beam. I love the Kings, man. I'll be watching a lot of Kings games for sure.
What do you think, D'Lo? Does this make the Kings a true contender in the West?
I think I'm the only one that is gonna say this, and I think it's yeah. Listen, I love this pickup for the Kings. They've needed, in terms of, their starting lineup, they needed a scorer outside of De'Aaron Fox, who I'm gonna come out and say is the most underrated player in the NBA right now. He is phenomenal, and if you watch the Kings, you'll see it. He should be an all-star every year. Sabonis, obviously, we know what he does. Very unorthodox style from Sabonis, which is why they kind of have to play a little differently around him. But listen, I like what they're doing over in Sacramento. Obviously, they re-signed Malik Monk, who is my pick to be like the sleeper free agency signing. He went back to Sacramento. Listen, I like what they're doing. Harrison Barnes is on the way out the door anyway. He hasn't been as much as that of the impact player since he left Golden State. And so to slot in DeRozan in that slot where Harrison Barnes used to be, I think makes them a contender. They will definitely be top 5 in the West. And in all honesty, I think that they're competing with teams like the Thunder, like the Timberwolves. I could see it happening depending on how DeMar plays in the playoffs. We know that DeMar is not the biggest playoff riser that we've ever seen. Obviously, LeBron follows him everywhere. But if he can overcome that, I can see them making a deep playoff run.
What you think, Kev? That's interesting, by the way. That's really I'm gonna respond to that in a few minutes. But what you think, Kev?
D'Lo, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna disagree with you about being them being contenders. Um, if it was in the East, I would agree with you, but it's just the West is so much better. I don't think they could even with the signing of DeRozan. I think it helps them get better, but I just think the spacing is still not gonna be resolved because when I watch that Kings team play, they need spacing because Darren isn't gonna be shooting lights out from three. He can shoot it. He can shoot one or two, but he's not like averaging like 3 or 4 threes a game. Sabonis, we know he can't shoot threes to save his life. But I mean, you got Keegan Murray. That's probably and Malik Monk. Those two guys are probably the best 3-point shooters. I was hoping that instead of DeRozan, they were able to trade for someone like a Brandon Ingram. Because that probably would have been an option that I liked more. Because of what he can bring to the table, and plus he's also younger on that side on that equation as well. But I do think the Kings get a bit better. I just don't think they can compete with the teams like Thunder, Wolves, Nuggets, Mavericks, and even the Suns. I think the Suns are still ahead of the Kings. Possibly you can even have talks about Pelicans being up there as well, contending for that 5 or 6 spot with the Kings as well. It's just that West is just too good, and yes, they get better, but I think the Kings will be a play-in team in my opinion.
Hold on,
Okay.
Jamal. Before you go,
Yeah.
I'm just going to shut down that not a three-point shooter debate because he's averaging 8 attempts a game and he's shooting 37% from three last year. But go ahead and say what you will, Jamal.
Well, okay. I'm going to say this. I am right in between D'Lo and Kevin and John. I am right in between them. Here's the reason why I say that. I absolutely love this pickup for the Kings. I absolutely love this pickup for the Kings. I was thinking they were going to go out and get Paul George. Obviously, that didn't happen with having paid Malik Monk, with having paid De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis as well. May not have the money to go out and pay Paul George. Obviously, he did end up going to Philly, but they needed a wing. They needed a wing who could score. DeMar DeRozan fits that spot. Right, he could go out. He could put the ball on the floor, go get his own bucket. They didn't have another guy like that outside of Fox and Monk. He could, like I said, he could go get you 30. If you absolutely need it, he can go get you 30. He did it on Chicago for many years. He did it in Toronto for many years. Obviously, he's an older player now. He's going to have to adjust, but I think this is a great pickup for the Kings. I think this puts them that 5-6 range. I think they're too good to be in the play-in, but I don't think they're good enough to hang with Dallas and Denver and Minnesota and Oklahoma City. So I think that puts them right in there. I think they'll be competing with the Suns for that 5-6 seed. I think they'll be competing with the Pelicans for that 5-6 seed. So I do really like this pickup, though. It really evens out the team a little bit more. De'Aaron Fox is fantastic. I love watching him. He is definitely one of the most underrated players in the league. So I definitely love De'Aaron Fox. Sabonis is just a dog. He's a dog. He's a walking triple-double. So I love that pickup for the Kings, and it's going to be very interesting to see where they compete in the West and where they slot in the West. And obviously in comparison to teams like the Mavs and Nuggets and OKC, teams like that. Very interesting to see. This one shouldn't take too long. LeBron was doing an interview. Actually, no, LeBron spoke at obviously being a Team USA, and obviously he was asked about Bronny. One of the things he said about Bronny is very misunderstood. He says that Bronny is not the type to really care or listen to anything. Obviously, like the critics say, guys like Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless, people like that, Brian Windhorst. He said he's not exactly the type. LeBron did say that he was. When he first got into the league, he said that he absolutely was one of those guys to really pay attention to what those people are saying and take it to heart. Obviously, they're coming in the league at two completely different positions. Bronny is a second-round pick, and LeBron was probably the most hyped overall number one overall pick of all time. So, D'Lo, do you believe LeBron when he says Bronny doesn't really care about what the critics say?
No, not one bit. Listen, that's just human nature, right? You may be able to filter most of it out, but some of that is going to creep in, and that's just life as it goes. We all deal with that, and this is no different, especially when they have more coming in than everybody else, especially Bronny. I think that he's been talked about more than the first overall pick.
Yeah.
Anybody in the first round, really. So to say that he's not listening to any of it and that he doesn't care about it is kind of crazy to me. But I will say I liked how he played in his first game. Even though, the shots weren't falling, all of those were good shots that he took. And I don't know if you guys were watching that game at all, but they were all open. And obviously maybe slightly contested on some of the three-point attempts, but all good shots, makeable shots. And I think that's what he needs to focus on. I think it was just first game jitters. Coming out of college, it's your first summer league game. Even, Victor Wembanyama didn't play that great in his first summer league game. And we know how that turned out. So I'm not saying that he's going to be like some super fantastic star or anything, but if he keeps looking for his shots the way he did, I could definitely see him carving out his own role in the team for sure.
It did. You know what? It did. He did look pretty good in terms of creating his own shot. He was able to put the ball on the ground, create some space, and get those open looks. Just wasn't able to knock it down. So I think that's a good point. Kev, what do you think? Do you think Bronny pays attention to what the critics say, or do you believe when Bron says he doesn't care?
To answer your question, I'm gonna say yes, he pays attention because in today's world, in today's generation, social media has a big impact on everyone. It's not just athletes; it's also celebrities. It's also even us as well. We could say one thing where I don't give a crap what they're saying, but deep down you're like, damn, like I gotta take that into consideration and work on myself and and so on and so on. And to quote what D'Lo said as well, I mean, how Wemby didn't have the best summer league debut, Another guy that I did mention on the show that I compared Bronny to is Lonzo Ball. When he first played for the Lakers, I mean, he didn't look comfortable out there. He didn't look like he knew how to play the right flow, the right rhythm to start off his career. But look at what he was doing before he got hurt. On the Pelicans, he was hooping. And then when he went to Chicago, he turned that team around to it wasn't just him, but he had a big impact for Chicago, turning them into a 1 seed in the East. So if Bronny does have a career like Lonzo Ball, hence the injuries, I think that's a good career for Bronny right there. Seeing how Lonzo Ball did throughout his career until he got hurt.
What do you think, John? You think Bronny be paying attention to the criticism?
Absolutely. I agree with D'Lo. I think in today's league, just in general, you do pay attention. It just depends on how he's going to use that motivation. Is he going to use it to become better, or is he going to let it get, beat himself down or be like a Ben Simmons where you're not using that motivation, you're not using that criticism to grow as a player or as a person even. It's just depending on who he is and on how he faces adversity, man. It really is. I like what I saw. I watched the first half of that game. Him and Dalton were both looking pretty good. They were shooting. They were, just trying to get their own buckets. It wasn't falling, but I like the confidence. The player movement was pretty good, and he wasn't turning the ball over, so he looked fine to me. It kind of opened my eyes a little bit. He's a really athletic guy. Like, he's very, very athletic. I think he'll be pretty good, to be honest. That first game kind of relieved a lot of the pressure I felt as being a Laker fan. I was just wanting him to succeed as well. He's a Laker player first, and he's LeBron's son second to me. I'm a Laker fan first. I'm rooting for him, so hopefully he does good.
So here's the thing. I think Bronny sees it. I think he absolutely sees what everybody's saying. I don't think he cares, though. If I'm being 100 completely, I don't think he cares. I just don't. Just based on his body language and the way he carries himself, I don't think he cares too much what other people say. Just because people have been saying this all his life. He is the son of LeBron James. To a lot of people, is the greatest player of all time. So that's gonna come with criticism, especially when you share blood with that man. So I think he sees it. I think he absolutely sees it. I just don't think he cares as much. But in terms of his debut, I think he was very aggressive. Obviously, like you guys mentioned, didn't shoot the ball very well. In terms of efficiency, Don't Connect definitely didn't shoot the ball very well. But I think Don't Connect is going to be a very good player. Again, I compare him a lot to Jaime Jaquez in Miami. That's just who I kind of see when I see Don't Connect. I think he can be as good, if not better, than Jaime Jaquez. So I really like Don't Connect. I'm telling you, I really like Don't Connect. I love what he was one of the best players in the country last year, and he was ridiculously fun to watch on that Tennessee team. So I think he has very, very high, has a very high ceiling. Bronny, again, I think his peak is Drew Holiday. If he is Drew Holiday, he had a successful career. He just did. Because Drew Holiday is the ultimate team player and, in my opinion, the greatest role player of all time. Again, I think Bronny obviously sees it. I just don't think it really affects him. I don't think he cares as much as maybe somebody else, maybe a Reese Shea or maybe a Reed Shepard would maybe care as much. But lastly, this does not have to do with sports. This is maybe a little bit more of a sensitive subject. But a viral Twitch streamer sketch did get some things leaked yesterday. Some very sensitive things. Obviously, it was some pictures that he took, a few years back. I think it was an OnlyFans thing. I think you guys have seen it. You guys have all seen like what? And I'm sure if you've lived under a rock for the past 24 hours, I'm sure you've seen it. But Kev, you look like you're ready to go. I'm gonna start with you. What is your reaction to this whole sketch?
Bro, let me go last. Pick someone else.
No, you shouldn't have been
Yeah,
making
D'Lo,
no face.
go, bro. Hey, I want to hear what D'Lo has to say first.
Man, listen, I don't think that this matters at all. Obviously, in terms of his marketing, his publicity, this is going to affect him in some way. obviously, because that's just the world that we live in. But in terms of, what he's doing now, it shouldn't really make a difference. I mean, he doesn't. He came out on stream last night and talked about it. And listen, he's a full-time streamer now. There are a bunch of people that enjoy watching him. And I don't think that this should make a difference on whether you watch him or not. It was a thing that he did in the past. He says he no longer does it anymore. And it should be just left at that. And obviously people are going to bring it up for a long time and they will not let it go. And his Twitch chat is going to become unbearable. But overall, that's just the nature of human. And in all honesty, he's helped a lot of people. He's, people don't realize how much streamers or YouTubers or whatever, actually help people in situations that they go through. And so, I think he will continue to stream. He'll continue to do his thing. And at some point, it'll just become a faint memory. But, he's one of the biggest creators right now in the world. And so I don't see that stopping because of this. So.
John and Kev, if you don't mind, I'm actually going to take off a little bit because I feel very strongly about this. And I'm going to echo a lot of what D'Lo just said and some. D'Lo just mentioned Sketch has helped so many people. He has helped so many people in what he does in content creating and making people laugh, whatever the case may be. This has no impact. This should have no impact on Sketch whatsoever. And people are going to look at this as a bad thing. They're going to look at, he was taking all these pictures. That is what he was doing. If you don't like it, don't watch it. That is the point of content creating. We're doing this podcast right now. If you don't like it, don't watch it. There's YouTubers. If you don't like it, don't watch it. You are not forced to watch it. But for the people who do enjoy Sketch and do enjoy watching him create content, making people laugh, watch it. And for those real people who really do enjoy Sketch, they won't care about this. I'm a Sketch fan. You saw me doing a little Sketch impression at the beginning of the show. It's gone viral. He has helped. It is ridiculous what he's been able to do. So, and there's nothing wrong with what came out. There is nothing wrong. The fact that he had to stress over this. He said he was stressing over this for 2 years, hoping that this wouldn't come out. Why? You did it. It is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It is content creation. You are able to create whatever content you want to. That is the freedom of this very world. God bless America. So there's no reason why you should be upset or even stressing about this. There's no reason. He was creating content. Just like a lot of other people do, just like we're doing. It's just different content. So who cares about that? And the fact that what some people were saying about him is absolutely insane to me. He is still a human being. He is a human being who has feelings, who has thoughts. So it's insane to me how some people think he has never harmed anybody. He has never hurt anybody. Not that I know of, at least publicly. He's never talked down on anybody. He's never done anything like that. When I first heard of, I didn't even know what it was when I first heard of these allegations or whatever. I first saw it yesterday, and I think it came out yesterday, but I first saw it yesterday. I'm thinking, oh, damn, what did he do? Did he hurt somebody? Did he kill somebody? It's pictures that he decided to take for an OnlyFans channel, his OnlyFans channel, or page, or whatever it is, that were different. So what? So what? People are bringing him down because he was taking pictures of himself. So what? Don't look at the pictures if it really that upsets you that much. But I do want to preface this at the end of the day, emphasize this so much. He's still a human being. He is still a human being who has feelings and thoughts. So and I don't like to cuss on here, man. I don't like to cuss on this podcast. But Sketch, excuse my language, keep your motherfucking head up, dude. You make so many people happy. You make me happy. You make me laugh all the time, bro. Keep your head up, bro. Don't worry about what all these other people are saying. Please don't, because then it's gonna mess you up. Don't worry about that, bro. I'm so serious. You are making way too many people laugh more than you are having these people hate on you. Even those people hating on you are still watching you so that they can hate on you. So again, I'm very, very, very serious about that. I don't play about things like this. It's just different. It amazes me on the type of people that there are in this world. And for people to look down upon that. Again, he was creating content. Who cares what content was? And if he wasn't hurting somebody or bullying somebody or killing somebody, or John, what is your reaction to this whole sketch situation?
Yeah, I agree with what you guys are saying as well. The thing that sucked to watch, like I hated seeing him like have to apologize and stuff. He didn't have to apologize for anything, you know. It is what it is, you know. He's not doing anything malicious. You have people who are doing way more malicious, like Doctor Disrespect, literally just like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever.
Yeah,
Doing way more. That's what I'm saying. Doing like way more harmful stuff, and then this guy, who's literally never in my public eye or in the public eye has ever done anything really harmful to anyone, and he's just taking pictures of himself in ways that he chooses to. It's just that's what he wants to do. It's what he wanted to do at the time. And it just sucks to see him have to go through that. I said yesterday, I was like, man, I just hope someone gives him a hug or something because he needs it, bro. He definitely does, 100%.
It's a cruel world, man. I hate the way a lot of people think. I hate it so much. But Kev, what's your reaction to it?
I honestly think in his situation, if it was stressing him out, and then when the pictures finally got leaked and all the information got leaked, I personally think he should have taken some time off, just from everything, and just kind of like get time to recover for himself. Because if he does stream like right away and try to make content, moving forward, and if it bothers him, it might affect the way he streams, and it might affect the energy that he's gonna give off on his streams. So if it's still like bothering him, and if it's like a big thing for him to have to go through, I think just take some time off. You don't need to rush back into making content because it's always going to be there. Creating content is always going to be available for you. But it's times like this where if he's really going through it, he should really like take time off and just kind of like take a break from a couple of things, from a lot of things, in my opinion. And then once he's finally over, I think that's when it's good for his mental health to get back into it and continue the streams like he does. I personally don't watch him, but I mean, I think almost all you guys in this stream right now, in this chat with me right now, Jamal, I know you watch him a lot. But I mean, like, yeah, the energy that he gives off, I mean, it's positive vibes, and if it's right now, if he's not 100%, right, where he's not, as energetic as he was before, I think just take some time off.
Yeah, I will say, I was scrolling on TikTok earlier and his live popped up. So I think he's actually live currently, which is good to see. He addressed it yesterday. He got it all out of the way, and now he's just back into playing games like he does. So hopefully it's not affecting him too much, though, for sure.
Yeah, again, I refuse to understand some of the thinking that goes on in this world, let alone this country. So it sucks to see, but yeah, Sketch, keep your head up, bro. You make way more people happy and laugh than you do sad or unhappy or whatever. So keep your head up, dude. Again, it's not like he was doing anything harmful. He's taking pictures of himself in which he thought was creating content, and so that's just what it is. So hopefully he's all right. But I guess technically that's something to chew on. Again, it's 45 minutes, but
Before,
I guess
before we move on real quickly, because it just popped up on my Twitter from Woj, Cade Cunningham and Detroit have agreed on their $5 million max rookie extension. I'm sure we'll talk about it more tomorrow, but I just wanted to put that out there right now.
as he deserves it. As he deserves it. And like you said, we'll definitely get into it more tomorrow. So definitely looking forward to that.
Something to chew on. Yeah.
Yes,
chew on that for tomorrow.
That will definitely be in something to chew on, and probably won't be 45 minutes something to chew on. But but no, it was all great conversation. But Team USA basketball training camp has begun. Obviously, you have stars like Steph Curry and KD and LeBron and Anthony Davis and Devin Booker and Anthony Edwards and guys like that, Jason Tatum. And speaking of that Jason Tatum fella, he arrived, I think, 2 days ago at training camp. Obviously, him coming off the NBA Finals win doesn't make any sense. Drew Holiday was there at the very beginning with everybody else, so don't understand why Jason Tatum gets a pass. But such is life. But he was talking to the media, I believe it was yesterday, and one of the things he said was him getting this championship ring eliminates the discussion from him being an elite player. He believes it automatically puts him in that elite conversation. And when I think of elite, you guys can maybe think of it a little differently. I think top 7. I think the top 7 players in the NBA are elite players. So, John, do you believe Jason Tatum is an elite player, top 7, top 8, somewhere in that range?
I'd place him probably just outside top 7, I guess. I mean, Jason Tatum can say what he wants to say at this point. I guess he's a champion, right? But I don't know. Just with Jason Tatum, something feels off. I can't quite crown him yet for some odd reason. It's not to say that, he's a terrible basketball player or anything, but I just feel like even though he's won a ring, I just feel like you've got more to prove. It's not like you played beyond god awful terrible, but you definitely didn't play to the standards that I felt like, you could play as a player. I mean, you want to make your stamp in this game. You want to be legendary. So you got to prove it. He won and he found ways to contribute. So he's a damn good basketball player. And I'd love to have him on my team. That's for sure. But, to say that he's truly elite in that upper echelon, I wouldn't put him there just yet. I think he's close. He's very close. He's still got time as well. So he's got it. He'll get there.
D'Lo, what you think?
Hey, man, listen, I know you say you don't like cursing on the show, and my apologies beforehand, but fuck no, he is not.
Okay,
listen,
I do want to preface this. I personally don't like. I don't care if you guys cuss.
I personally don't like it either.
Okay, that's fair. But
fuck
to make your point,
no, he's not. Okay,
deal.
Listen. If you're not even a guy who won the Finals MVP or Eastern Conference Finals MVP on your team in a team that won the championship, you're not even the number one guy in my opinion. That's JB. If we were talking about Jaylen Brown in this conversation, it'd be a little different. But Jason Tatum had a horrendous playoff run in its entirety. I think we can all agree on it. He did not perform the way that we think from elite players that they should. Luka who is in that conversation, elite player. You saw his playoff run. He was tremendous. That's what we expected from Jason Tatum, and that's what we got out of Jaylen Brown. What are we talking about? And then he's coming into Team USA wearing Kobe's jersey, numbered, wanting to honor him. Bro, stop. Like, he wants to be so trendy so bad. And I know we've all seen the memes of him copying everybody from Steph to KG and Kanye. And it's just, to me, Jason Tatum is becoming like my most hated player in the league. And it sucks to see because I used to love Jason Tatum. I used to stand for everything that he was. And now it's just, I can't stand him anymore. Especially with him parading around in Miami. That set me off a completely crazy. That set me off completely different. But listen, it's just, if if you're not performing the best on your own team, there's no way I can put you in an elite category with the guys that are single-handedly carrying teams, right? Nikola Jokic, without Nikola Jokic, Denver is a 7 or 8 seed, realistically. The Mavericks without Luka are not a playoff team, realistically. They may be like 9 or 10 play-in at most, right?
Jalen Brunson without the Knicks.
We'll get there, I assume. But yes, Jalen Brunson with not on the Knicks is a play-in team. The Celtics without Jason Tatum, do I consider them a play-in team? No, I don't. Do I consider them, a 4, 5, 6 seed? Yeah, they would definitely drop. But I'm not considering them a bad team without Jason Tatum. And I think that separates the elite from the non-elite. And so to sit here and say that he is an elite level player is blasphemous to me. But that's just my opinion.
What you think, Kev?
Look, I've always been highly against super teams, and when I say that, it's because when the Warriors first made their super team, it was hard to watch when KD joined because of how elite and how dominant they were. And this Celtics team reminds me of that. Not the exact same squad, but just how dominant they were. It reminds me a lot of that team. And it's like basically you take Tatum off that Celtics team, like D'Lo said. They're still a good team in the East. They're still a top 4, maybe top 3 team in the East. So it's not like they're gonna be trash. They're not gonna be a poverty team, for that season. And I mean, like both of you guys have said, Brown winning MVP on both finals and Eastern Conference Finals as well already proves the point why Tatum isn't an elite player, why he is one of the most overrated superstars in the league. He does have that ring to back up his status. But we've all saw what he did in the finals. He didn't look like the best player on the court. He didn't look like the best player on his team. And at times it looked like Drew Holiday was more valuable than Jason Tatum as well. So the fact that a role player, like Jamal said, one of the greatest role players of all time, is playing better than your quote unquote superstar, that's a big loss right there for Tatum's status and his and just his overall play. So the fact that he wants to go out there and saying he's one of the elite players, I completely disagree because he's not consistent. He's way too inconsistent to consider himself as one of the biggest superstars, one of the best superstars. And the fact that he keeps riding Kobe every single time that we see him, like he chose number 10 in the Olympics because of Kobe. And then when they won the ring, I mean, he was doing KG impressions. He was saying, "What they gonna say now?" Like Steph, like I'm like, bro, like can be your own self. Like you want people to like you, then you need to be your own self. You can't just try to be other people that are already great in their own terms. Now be yourself. I don't know why he's trying to be someone else when he's not. So I think that's the reason why he keeps getting hate. And I don't know, like him showing up to the Olympics after Drew Holiday, it just goes to show he doesn't care enough like Drew and the other guys do. Drew just won a championship too. How come he was there way before JT? So it makes no sense why Drew's there and JT wasn't. So in my opinion, he's one of the most overrated superstars, if he's even a superstar in my opinion. But yeah, I don't think he's elite status just yet.
Listen, he's on a tier with Jamal Murray.
Are you being serious?
I'm being so serious. They both have a ring. What else is there?
I'm not gonna lie, I agree with that. That's perfect. Not gonna lie.
Outside of regular season success, where he's in MVP votings and he's all NBA. If we're talking strictly playoffs, they both have a ring. What is separating them?
Jamal.
Okay,
Jamal.
That is okay. Here's what I will say.
No, I agree with. I see his point because, like, realistically, he didn't really do much to.
They both have one ring, and they were the second best player on their team. What's the
Sounds like Jamal
difference?
Murray. Sounds like Jamal Murray to me. I don't know.
Jamal Murray's here.
Okay, here's what I will say.
To be honest, I'd rather have Jamal Murray's performance in the playoffs, to be honest, more than Tatum. At least I know Jamal Murray will at least turn it up a little bit in the playoffs, bro. Like he's not always god tier, but he's giving me some performances. I'll take
Go
Jamal
ahead,
Murray.
Jamal.
Yeah, I'll take Jamal Murray, man.
Here's what I will say, and John kind of beat me to it. Jamal Murray's performance in the playoffs is better than Jason Tatum. Let's just keep it honest. It is better than Jason Tatum. I don't believe Jason Tatum is an elite player in the league. I don't. Just based off of especially what he did in the playoffs. Obviously, in the regular season, he was first team All-NBA. He was an all-star. He was all this, all that. But when it mattered most, he didn't really show up. Jaylen Brown was the best player on that team throughout the entire playoffs. Let's keep it real. He just was. But comparing Jason Tatum to Jamal Murray is blasphemy.
Listen, I'm not comparing them in terms of player versus player. I'm putting them in the same tier of players.
In terms of no.
Like
Jason Tatum is absolutely at least 2 tiers above Jamal Murray.
No. I understand that, and I agree. I'm talking about in terms of what we're talking about in terms of the elite players. There's elite players, and then there's this tier of like guys that are stars, but
on the
verge of moving up.
Okay.
Tatum is in that one, and I wouldn't put Jamal in that category. I'd put him a tier below. But in terms of what we're talking about, in terms of what Jason Tatum said, with his "I have a ring now" statement, he's in the tier with Jamal Murray. They both got a ring. They were the second best player on the team. What's separating Jamal Murray from being that? Right?
Okay. I can get behind that.
Yeah, I'm not calling them the same player. They're not. Jason Tatum is better than Jamal Murray. We would all agree. But in terms of his comments, there's nothing separating him from Jamal Murray.
I have a question for all you guys then. So the Nuggets won the title last year, and Celtics won it this season. Whose impact do you think was a lot more impactful? Jamal Murray or Jason Tatum?
Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray.
But I think I could see where D'Lo's points are coming in. Because I'm looking from that standpoint where Jamal Murray was more valuable to his team than Jason Tatum was to his team this year.
100% agree. So again, so I see where you're coming from now. I understand where you're coming from.
Hell, even this year, like he was more valuable than Jason Tatum for the 2 rounds that they played.
Yeah.
To be honest, yeah.
I get behind that. I listen, I have no argument. And I'm not at all defending Jason Tatum. I think Jason Tatum was pretty terrible in these playoffs. He had his moments. It's ridiculously overrated. I've been saying this for years. This is not the first time I've been saying this at least since 2022, that he's the most overrated superstar in the league.
If he
not the most overrated player, we all know who that is. We all know who the most overrated player is. But the most overrated superstar, who's that?
Do we really know?
Oh, we absolutely know. We absolutely know who the most overrated player in the league is. He just happens to wear number 10 or number 11 or whatever number he's wearing in Dallas now.
I think
so I'm not going for none of that.
He's wearing 31. Isn't he wearing 31?
Yeah.
God, he's a loser. God,
Terrible
he is
number.
a loser.
Terrible number.
God, he's
31?
You could have had me. I thought
31.
I thought he was wearing number 3 in Phoenix, but I could be wrong.
Oh, you don't want to do that. You don't want to. I will sit here and debate Chris Paul being a top 5 point guard.
Let's talk about Bradley Beal.
I thought I was talking about Bradley Beal, but shit.
Oh, okay. Oh, my bad. No,
Bradley Beal
my bad.
Bradley
That's Ricky. That's Ricky. You don't like Chris Paul. Bradley Beal. But here's the thing. Bradley Beal's not even overrated. He just sucks. He's terrible.
Yeah, that's true.
He's bad.
He's a trash.
Hey, you said you'd trade him for a half-eaten bag of Funyuns or some shit like that.
A half-eaten bag of Funyuns at a yogurt team.
50 mil to not show up to the elimination game? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be down if we get swept. So he was dead.
Man.
Fouled out, dude. Don't get me started on Bradley Beal, bro.
My bad. I didn't mean to bring that up, but
No, you good, bro. But you just don't do it again next time. No. See, bro, because we like to bring up the Suns and how bad they were, bro. It's all right, bro. Because we're gonna come back next year and we're gonna lose in the first round again. And you know what? I'm still gonna be wearing my own purple.
There we go.
Hey,
So-
at least you're realistic.
Hey, bro, just keep it to the bean, bro. Because Bradley Beal, I don't know what he got going on. It's about to piss me off. I'm starting with this one. Anthony Edwards says he is still the number one option on this Team USA team. And that's not even the best part. Everybody has to adjust around him. What did he just say? Is LeBron on Team USA? LeBron James. Is Kevin Durant on Team USA? Is Stephen Curry on Team USA?
Joel Embiid.
I'm hearing a lot of yapping going on from Anthony Edwards. I'm hearing a lot of yapping. Because you're telling me he was he's telling me he's the number one option on a team with at least three first ballot Hall of Famers. He will be part of the garbage time squad. Let's be honest. He will be a part of the garbage time squad.
I think he might be a starter.
He'll be 6 man.
He's not
he's a
That's
6 man.
wild.
I think he's 6 man.
Wild.
I 100%. When Team USA is blowing people out by 30, he will be on the court. I bet you money.
I like him.
Bet
I
you
think
money.
him 6 man. I think he'd cook in that 6 man role for Team USA. That's what you want.
Absolutely not. Because I'll tell you what. When he was the first option on the FIBA team last year, what'd he do?
You're asking him to be the 6th man on this USA team.
At that time last year, he didn't blossom into the player he is right now, though.
That is none of my business.
Player.
He was talking the same crazy last year. That is none of my business what he is now and what he was.
You got to talk crazy. You got to talk crazy every year. That's how you keep your confidence up. He's just
I understand
one of those
that,
guys.
but you have to live up to that crazy talk. So what? Last year when he was the number one option on that FIBA team, who plays fourth, didn't even win a medal, plays fourth.
Yeah, they lost to Germany, right?
Germany
They lost
last
to
year.
Dennis Schroeder. They lost to Dennis Schroeder, bro.
Dennis
And Daniel Tice. They lost to Dennis Schroeder and Daniel
Dennis
Tice. I
Schroeder
was
was
watching
better
that
than him
game.
in that game.
Bro, I was watching that game at work at like 7 in the morning because it's like, where else are you going to watch it? So I'm watching just Matt eating breakfast. I'm like, bro, we're getting cooked by Dennis Schroeder right now. What is going on? Like, I love
And I'll tell you what.
Like, but like, come on.
That team, if that team was this year, he wouldn't even be the best player on that team. Jalen Brunson would be the number one option on that team.
It's a different year, and he's a different player.
I understand that. He'll be in their garbage time. Because I'll tell you what, Devin Booker will get more minutes than him. KD will get more minutes than him. Steph will get more minutes than him. LeBron will get more minutes than him. Jason Tatum will get more minutes than him. So number one option, and telling you and telling these other people that they're gonna have to build a
Jason Tatum is
him.
not getting more minutes than Ant. I'm sorry.
I'm a hater. I guarantee you, Jason Tatum will get more minutes than Anthony Edwards.
Do you think Booker
can
would have
track
more
this.
minutes than Ant?
Devin Booker started in the Olympics 2 or 3 years ago. Started.
But that team isn't the same as it is this team, though.
What's the difference? Devin Booker was the best two guard on that team. Nothing has changed.
And Anthony Edwards is the best two guard right now.
Yeah.
You said it yourself too, Jamal.
Yeah. Huh? I said no. I said it after they beat the Suns. Because I thought Anthony Edwards was prepared to go all the way. If he runs into a wall in the Western Conference Finals, if there was a big old wall that he ran into, what makes you think he won't run into that same wall halfway through the summer after the playoffs is done? He told you. I might have the clip somewhere. He told everybody he did not train in order to go win an NBA Finals. He thought they was going to play 1, maybe 2 rounds in the playoffs, and that's exactly what he did before he hit this huge wall. And that person was Luka Doncic. That wall had a name. So what makes you think Anthony Edwards is going to go into the Team USA, not hit that same wall?
He's got LeBron on his team. He's got Curry on his team. He's got KD on his team. He's got Jamal
That's
on
all
his
good
team.
and dandy. That's exactly why he'll be riding the bench.
Oh, that's a 6-man. Mark my
Six
words.
man. Yeah.
6-man.
He won't be the sixth man. Devin Booker will. If Devin
I
Booker,
think
if
he
Devin
will.
Booker's not
Fits him
starting,
perfectly.
if
He's
Devin
like a
Booker's not starting,
supercharged
Jason
6-man.
Tatum will be the first man off the bench. I will bet either one of you however much amount of money.
I don't think Devin Booker will be starting.
He's
I don't
projected
think.
in the starting lineup. He's projected it to be in the starting lineup.
Is he?
The projected
a-
starting lineup I saw was LeBron, KD, Steph, Tatum, and Embiid.
Fire. That's fire.
That's the projected starting lineup that I saw.
I saw Steph, Booker, LeBron, KD, and Embiid.
Man,
I
I
saw
don't think
Tatum in there.
Jason Tatum should even be on the team, if I'm being honest.
I
but,
agree.
Yeah,
I absolutely agree.
hey,
He's Fugazi, bro.
we
He's
can leave
Fugazi.
that alone.
But I mean, Anthony Edwards is 7th, 8th best player on this team.
Oh,
Let's keep it real.
oh,
Keep it real. Because let's go through. LeBron at that again. At the time in which he beat Denver, I had Anthony Edwards over LeBron.
Yeah, we
After-
know. We heard.
Oh yeah. But after I heard him say that he didn't train hard enough to be conditioned to go all the way to the NBA Finals, off my list.
Jamal,
Completely off my list.
but when we did the top 10 list, you still had him over LeBron.
I just said that's what I just said. But we did that top 10 list after the second round of the playoffs.
No, we
Before
did
the
the top
Western
10 list like around the finals.
Wasn't that around the finals? Yeah.
Was it? Oh,
It was.
Yeah. Listen,
No, if it was.
a number one basketball fan over here.
Huh?
Come on,
Number
Jamal.
one
Again.
basketball fan over here.
Again, but that's the biggest reason why. That's the bigger reason. Yes. At the time, Anthony Edwards was better than LeBron this season. He had a better season. He had a better season than LeBron.
Yeah, that's based off of your guys' season thing. I would agree, but he's not a better player than LeBron.
Again,
Just like Jalen Brunson had a better season this year, but he's not better than Steph.
There it is. I was waiting for that. I agree with him.
I understand that. That's what the list was. That's what the list was, right?
Yeah.
I'm tweaking. Who?
Yeah.
The top 10 players of the 2023-2024
This
season.
past season, yeah.
Right. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's what
I
he
had
said?
Anthony Edwards over LeBron
Yeah. Continue with this Team USA
again, but
Ant stuff.
But going on
Keep
going
going.
on with the top 8 players.
Yep.
You have LeBron, you have KD, you have Embiid.
Yep.
You have Steph, you have
Mhm.
Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is debatable.
Yep. I agree.
Who else is on the team? I think Anthony
Bam.
Edwards is better than Jason Tatum.
Yep.
I think he's definitely better than Bam.
Yep. Okay.
Um,
Okay, you ain't have to say it like that. you bitch. You
No, I
ain't have to
did
say
that
it like that.
I did that on purpose.
But he ain't better than
Um,
Jimmy. Keep it a stack.
That's a close one.
He ain't better than playoff Jimmy.
He's not better than Kawhi. He's not better than Kawhi. So that's what, 7?
Yeah, he's better than Kawhi on the bench. Keep it a stack. Hey,
Anthony
you don't
Edwards
think
is better
Kawhi
than
gonna be
Kawhi
in street clothes?
He already is street
Oh,
clothes.
I'm not debating that. He will be in a $10,000 outfit on the bench. But in terms of basketball, Kawhi Leonard is a better basketball player than Anthony Edwards.
I agree.
Okay, so as we keep going, so who is that? Steph, LeBron, KD, Embiid, Anthony Davis, Kawhi.
6. And then there's
I'll-
nobody
I'll-
else on that team.
Are you about
put
to
Booker
take
over.
Booker over him?
Oh,
I'll take Booker over.
oh
Here we
my
go
lord!
Here we go again.
again,
There's
bro.
no
Bro.
way you're taking Booker.
Oh my! Listen, you said it after his series with the Suns that he is a better 2 guard than Booker.
This season, yes. This
He's
season,
better
yes.
than
He,
He's better than
he
Book.
has
He's better
eclipsed
than Book.
Book.
Sorry.
He is
I'm sorry.
This season,
Book.
yes. This season, yes.
Overall,
This
he is a better basketball player
Stop.
than Book.
What does Anthony Edwards do better than Anthony Edwards besides driving
Defense.
basketball?
He's a
He
way
is a
better
two-way.
defender.
He is
He's a better
way
offensive
better.
player all around. He's a better offensive player all around than Anthony Edwards.
doesn't matter. I'd rather take Ant in general.
What do you mean he doesn't
Both
matter?
sides of the ball.
Devin
Both
Booker.
sides of the ball.
Devin
You
Booker.
have both
Okay,
sides
hold
of the
on.
ball.
Hold on. Are you taking the gap that's between Booker and Ant offensively to mean that Booker is a better player than the massive gap that's between them in terms of defensive ability?
Okay. Who's better, Luka Doncic or Anthony Edwards?
Luka.
Well, his offensive output is literally.
Answer the question. Oh no, hold on. I'm making a point.
It's Luka.
Hold on. I'm making a point. No.
It's because
Who's
it's
the better
not just
player?
Luka.
Who's the better player?
Luka Doncic.
I'm taking Luka. Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you what. The gap between Devin Booker's defense and Anthony Edwards' defense is like this. The gap between Anthony Edwards' defense and Luka Doncic's defense is like this. Wrong or right?
I agree.
The gap between Devin Booker's offense and Luka Doncic's offense is like this. The gap between Anthony Edwards' offense and Anthony Edwards and Luka Doncic's
Don't
is
do
like
it.
this.
No.
Let's keep it a bean. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck.
Hey, let's keep your bias out the way, Jamal.
I'm not being. I'll do this. Hold on, I got you.
Let's keep the bias out the way. Listen, yes, offensively, Booker is a better mid-range scorer, not by a whole lot, not by a whole lot at this point, and a better three-point shooter. I'll give him that. Finishing, it's Ant, and it's not close. And what else? What else are you considering offensively? Playmaking, I'll give to Booker too. Booker. People don't realize that Booker is like actually an elite level playmaker, and they don't see it.
He's had to adjust to playing point guard. He's had to adjust for sure. Yeah,
and he's really good at it. But that's not his role. And I wish that they would have brought in like an actual guard like CP to let Book shine like he did when they had, when they went to the finals.
And thank God they brought in Monte Morris this year, bro. Thank God.
But other than that, what else is Booker giving you offensively that propels him above Anthony Edwards?
He's a better shooter. He's a better playmaker. He's a better overall scorer.
Okay.
Those are the three most important parts of offense.
Ant is a slightly lesser mid-range shooter, and ever so slightly. You saw it in the playoffs. He was hitting turnaround, fadeaway.
Hold on. It is not slight. Devin Booker and KD, first of all, Devin Booker, KD, and DeRozan are top three in mid-range shooting. Then it's Kawhi, and then it's like three or four. It's like at least 6 or 7 people, and then it's Anthony Edwards.
I put Kawhi above Booker in terms of mid-range shooting, but that don't matter. The point is that it's ever so slight. 3-pointing I'll give you, but again, the finishing from Anthony Edwards is so much more elite than Booker, and I don't think that you could argue it. Right?
I'm not arguing that.
Okay. And then you go to the defensive end of the ball. There's a gap. We can all agree there's a gap.
There is.
What are we talking about?
But again, if you want to talk about a gap, right? If you want to talk about a gap, you have to bring up Luka Doncic and his defense.
Listen,
because Luka Doncic is
Devin Booker does not make the impact that Luka does.
Cap.
He doesn't.
2021. If Devin Booker's not on that team, where do they go?
Maybe second round.
Yeah, probably
of the
second
playoffs.
round.
Of the playoffs, Kevin, that is the most stupid thing I've ever heard in my life.
They play against the banged up Lakers team.
No, if they don't have Devin Booker the entire season, where do the Suns go?
They probably like an 8 seed realistically.
Probably just
they were a 2 seed that year. In 2020,
they're probably an 8 or 7 seed realistically.
I probably have them probably missing the play-in.
Okay, in 2020, what were the Suns most known for?
The bubble.
Going 8-0 in the bubble. Mind you, Devin Booker was co-MVP with Damian Lillard in the bubble.
I remember.
Without Devin Booker, do the Suns win a basketball game in the bubble?
Maybe one or two.
Yeah, I think one or two. Yeah.
So let's talk about impact. Last year, when the Mavericks traded for Kyrie, was there a play-in?
Yeah.
Were the Mavericks in the play-in?
No.
Did Luka Doncic play last year?
From what I remember.
Yes, right?
Yeah, like I said, from what I remember, I think so.
Okay.
I don't think he was injured or anything.
Nope. He played. Impact. Last year, Anthony Edwards played against the Nuggets. Right? He took one game.
Mm-hmm.
And that game, he played phenomenal. He played fantastic.
Yep.
The other 4 games, he was nowhere to be found.
But you got to look
Last
at the age
year.
factor too.
Hold on. I'll give you a chance. Last year, in the playoffs, the Suns, KD was not playing well. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
I think so. I don't
He did
remember
He
too
did
much
not-
from last year.
No, he was awful because Kawhi had him in jail before he got hurt. Had him in jail. Devin Booker averaged 35 points throughout the first and second round. 35 points on 57% from the field goal and 51% from 3. You want to talk about a gap? The gap offensively between Devin Booker and Anthony Edwards is pretty. But again, I'll give you finishing. I'll give you finishing at the rim. You can have it. I will give it to you. No argument. Offensively, there is a gap between Devin Booker and Anthony Edwards. There just is. Anthony Edwards is not nearly as efficient. He is not nearly as consistent as you saw throughout this playoffs. But I do agree with you, D'Lo, in terms of impact. Anthony Edwards did have a huge impact, especially defensively. That's what I'll give you. Kevin, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say, last year was what Ant's second year in the league.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't really give him like a lot of the blame for not being successful last year because he's only had one season under that belt prior to last season. As compared to D Book, where he's been in the league since what 2014, 2015 or 2015, right?
It's almost 10 years, yeah.
No, it's actually I think it has
I
been.
think
10
it is
years.
10 years. It is 10 years, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
this was
It's
his ninth year in the league.
9. Yeah.
This was his ninth year in the league.
heading into 10 years.
Heading into 10, yeah.
So Booker's had the experience that Ant has, where Ant doesn't even have half of what Booker has had, and so Booker's had time to adjust to the league and to adjust to how the play style is. Why you give me the shrug?
What does that have to do with anything? The first time Devin Booker went into the playoffs, he went to the finals.
And
It took him 7 years to do it.
That's the point I'm trying to prove.
Are you putting that on him? Are you putting that on him?
No, I'm not. I'm putting that on the Suns front office. They were garbage.
As you should be.
Although
the Suns were a terrible organization.
Listen,
from
the Gerald
2015 to
Green
2019.
Suns era was elite. I don't give a
That was fire.
damn.
That was fire.
The
Tyler,
Gerald
you-
Green Suns era was so fire.
Eric
but-
Goran Dragic is a dog. Eric Bledsoe, a dog.
I missed Aaron Brooks. I low key love watching Aaron Brooks. I'll get like I don't know why, but Aaron Brooks was one of those players where he was mid, but I just love watching Aaron Brooks.
That's how I felt about Jody Meeks, bro. He was so mid, but like he had some moments.
Back when they had Goran Dragic and Eric Bledsoe,
Marcin
He was
Gortat.
Goran
Marcin
Dragic,
Gortat,
Eric Bledsoe, and
He's
Isaiah
good.
Thomas.
bro.
IT
Back,
too.
hey, listen.
PJ Tucker.
Dang,
It's like the team wasn't good, but they were fun to watch.
Mhm.
Gerald
But
Green
yeah,
is just-
no, listen, the Suns front office failed Booker his first 5 or 6 years in the league. But that doesn't discredit the fact that, in terms of impact, like you're talking about, Booker wasn't able to make a dent in that for his first 5 or 6 years, as he is now.
Devin Booker for his first 4 years in the league, 5 years in the league, however long it was. Name me the second best player he played with, but aside from Eric Bledsoe, who wasn't even all that great.
Hey, we're not about to shit on Eric Bledsoe like.
Let's just call it what it is. He wasn't even all that great. But you want to talk about it? Anthony Edwards came into the league. He already had a certified all-star in Karl Anthony Towns. The next year, they trade for a 2-time defensive player of the year in Rudy Gobert.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I'm not disagreeing
They're setting
with
him up
you.
for success. But
That's why I said the Suns failed Booker his first 5 to 6 years. That's what I said.
No. I absolutely agree. But I don't know where Kevin went, but Kevin,
I'm right here. I'm listening.
Kevin is. It sounds like you're blaming Devin Booker for the Suns not having success.
When you're
playing with Tyler Ulis as your starting point guard.
Hey, shout out to Tyler Ulis, though, bro.
Hey,
what?
Tyler Ulis used to be tough, low key.
Wow.
I mean, it's insane.
Your camera turned off.
He's so angry. His camera turned off. That's wild.
Damn knee bumped into it.
But no, I'm not saying it's D-Book's fault, but I'm just saying, like, Ant hasn't had the experience that he has had. He hasn't even reached his prime yet, and so that I don't know why he's getting the hate from you for being not being the best 2 guard in the league, when all Booker really has over Ant is the offensive game. But is the gap even that big of a gap? If we're being honest
yes,
here,
it is. I just told you why. It is.
It's really not. It's not that big. It's not that
It
big.
is. John, but aside from finishing, what does Anthony Edwards do better than Devin Booker?
I guarantee you by the time Ant is 26, 27, like D-Book, he's going to be miles ahead of D-Book at the age right now, if I'm being honest.
The mid-range game is not the gap you think it is. It's actually very, very close. I think Ant scores more points from the mid-range, but I think Book might be shooting better. But Ant scores a lot from the
How much you want to
mid-range.
put on it? How much you want to put on it? I'll
You
put
can- we can check
$1,000
right now. How much you want? We can check
I'm
right
so
now.
serious. How much you want to put on it?
How much does Book score from mid-range? How much of his points do they score? Because they
You
only
just
score,
said-
they have like a
hold on,
1 point difference. So it's close.
You just said Anthony Edwards scores more points from the mid-range than Devin Booker. How much money do you want to put on it? No, you're not answering the question. How much money do you want to put on it?
You want to put $20 on it?
I'll put $20 on it. I want to put. Hey, but you only told me $20. I'll put $500 on it.
All right, let's look this up. How many points does he get from mid-range?
You play with me like I don't watch every Suns game. Because bro,
there's stats. They track these stats, so you got to be careful.
what you telling?
I'm looking right now. I'm searching for it. Watch, I got you. Number of points.
Yeah, dude. I think
see
this part where we're just watching and just watch this and with laughter, bro.
Hey, don't worry. I'm trying to find it too, but I can't.
They track this. I know they do. I'm telling you, it's gonna be close. Watch. I'm gonna laugh at you.
And also check their shooting splits as well, percentage and everything as well.
Yep.
Let me do this.
So I'm looking at percentage of points from the mid-range. That's the closest thing I've got right now. So let's see. The first name I see that pops up. So Ant's 38 and Book is 42. So Ant says it's about, let me see.
Hold on. I'll send you my cash app. I'll send you my cash app. You said 38-42.
Ant scores more percent of his buckets from the mid-range, but it's not telling me the exact number. So if we're going off of who scores more of their points from the mid-range, it's actually Ant. Actually, Ant by 4%. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
You just told me 42-38.
That's where they rank. Like, that's where they rank, not like the percentage.
It's
Ant's
a ranking,
38,
not a percentage.
Ant's 38th, and then Book is literally 4 spots behind him.
That's the percentage.
You just said the opposite.
No. I said rank. But I'm trying to
Ant
look
is
at the
38.
percentage.
Booker is 42. That's what he said.
And then the percentage of points, it's going to be Ant scores 13% of his points from the mid-range. Book scores 12%. So he scores about a percent less. Ant's 13.6, Book is 12.7. But it's not showing me the exact number of points. So if we're going off of who scores more consistently from that point, Ant actually lives in the mid-range more than Book does, and he scores about a point less. So if we're really going, it's almost dead even. Like it's literally dead even. Because Book scores a point more.
I'm tired of y'all disrespecting Devin Booker like that.
So if we're really going off the mid range, it's low key pretty even.
Listen, it's not
I'm
like we're
tired of y'all
disrespecting
disrespecting,
Booker.
bro.
It's like
John's did not. It's all good, bro.
No,
No, D'Lo,
listen,
I'm not.
no,
D'Lo, you
It's the fact that you're disrespecting
Bro, I'm
Anthony
tired.
Edwards.
I'm
Like,
tired.
No. Listen, it's not like
They're
we're
the same.
disrespecting Booker and saying like, oh, he's so much worse than Anthony Edwards. He's garbage. It's not like we're saying that. We all acknowledge that he is the second best 2 guard in the league, and I don't think it's up for debate. I think the debate is who is one, and right now the three of us are putting Anthony Edwards over Booker. Right or wrong, I think that's what we're getting
There was a point
at.
in time too when Jamal.
Hold on. So Devin Booker this year, right, averaged a point better. Devin Booker was 27.1. Anthony Edwards was 25.9. 2 assists better, and shot 2% better from the field. Shot 8% better from the free throw line. Had a completely higher point of player efficiency rating. Do you know what PER is?
Yes.
He is a complete point higher in PER.
Okay.
I'm not done.
Hold on. We'll wait for him to finish, and then I'll debunk everything.
Where is... And Devin Booker shot... And he had a higher 3-point. He had a 1% better 3-point percentage than Anthony Edwards this season.
Okay.
So again.
Okay.
And the fact that
is that everything?
Hold on, you just interrupted me. The fact that Anthony Edwards made, again, and this is where team success comes into play. You were just talking about Jason Tatum. He was first team all NBA because his team was the best team in the league. Minnesota was the 3rd seed in the league, or 3rd seed in the West. And somehow, again, after all these stats, I just that Devin Booker was better in. Anthony Edwards made 2nd team all NBA.
Yep.
Which is beyond me. But go ahead. Because this is going on really long. We got to get out of here. Go ahead.
So what is the one thing that you say matters the most over anything else?
Availability.
No, after that. Like in terms of where you rank people, where they have success, where is it?
Oh, the
Where
playoffs.
you always okay. What happened in the playoffs?
The Timberwolves beat the Suns.
Okay, who was better in that series?
Anthony Edwards.
Okay. What are we talking about?
Okay. So if you're using that same argument, so there's only 2 people better than Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is the 3rd best player in the league.
According to your logic that you use, yes. I don't
completely base that. I don't completely base my player ranking on playoff success.
About 80%.
That is not solely.
About 80% of your ranking is playoff success.
80% is insane.
About 80% of your rankings is based.
That's why
listen. That's why you put Luka over Nikola Jokic when you shouldn't have, is because he was having
Luka averaged a 30-point triple-double.
He's not better. He is not better than Jokic.
A 30-point triple-double in the playoffs and took his team to the finals.
What are we talking about?
It doesn't matter.
A 30-point triple-double. Was he not the best player in the playoffs?
He was. I agree. But according to your logic, he is now the best player in the world. You just said it.
You just said it again. You just said it again.
You just said it.
You just said it again.
In the playoffs. You just said it because of his
30-point triple-double?
Because of his run, you're saying he's the best player in the world.
You just said Jamal Murray was better than Jason, or was on the same level as Jason Tatum because of the playoff success. Did you not just say that?
In terms of the comment, don't pull that out. In terms of the comment that he made, in terms of the comment that Jason Tatum made of him having a ring now makes him an elite player, he's on the same tier as Jamal Murray. because Jamal Murray is a player with a ring, right?
So you said Jamal Murray and Jason Tatum are on the same level.
According to Tatum's comment that he made.
No, answer the question, D-Lo.
He started.
Answer the question.
Yes. That's what I said.
Jason Tatum and Jamal Murray on the same level.
Again, you're taking this completely out of context.
That's
what I said.
That is what you said.
Yes.
Luka Doncic, who averaged a 30-point triple-double.
People that watch the podcast will understand that you're spitting some bullshit right now. They will understand.
30-point triple-double. What am I not speaking English?
Yes, I understand. But you're basing the fact that he averaged a 30-point triple-double in his playoff run to put him number one best player in the world. Yes or no?
Yes.
So then
including his regular season.
By your logic, because Ant was the third best player in this playoff run, he is the third best player in the world.
No, I already told you he's not a top 3 player in the world.
Okay. So then just because Luka averaged a 30-point triple-double in his playoff run does not make him the best player in the world. He is still behind Nikola Jokic.
He is also a first-team All-NBA. He still made first-team All-NBA.
So is Jokic.
Again, he took his team to the finals.
Jokic was MVP this year.
Huh?
Jokic was MVP this year, also first-team All-NBA. I'll let you continue.
Okay. I'll do you one better. 2021, who's the best player in the world?
Oh, that was a long time ago.
Okay,
Giannis?
Kevin says Giannis.
No, I'd still say Jokic.
Okay,
I'd say more Giannis. I think Jokic wasn't as – he's not a fantastic defender at the moment.
Even better. Who won MVP that year? Who won MVP?
In 2021?
Yes.
2021.
I'm 90% sure it was Jokic.
Yeah, I think it was Jokic. Because he won and then Embiid won Embiid won last year. Who won 2022? Oh, because Jokic was back-to-back, right?
Yeah.
And then this year is his third, yeah.
Nikola Jokic won the MVP in 2021.
Yeah.
He also won the MVP this year. Kevin and John just said, in 2021, who was the best player in the world?
You don't have to be the MVP to be
No,
the best
answer
player
the
in the
question.
league.
I'm making a point. Answer the question.
If we're going to go by your logic, then LeBron should have.
No, answer the question. Answer the question. You just said Giannis. No, because now you guys are going to be wrong. Now you want to change it up. 2021, Jokic won the MVP.
I said Jokic was the best player in the world.
No, deal. I'm not arguing with you because you're saying.
I said Giannis was the best player at that time.
You did right. Now, again, D-Lo, I'm not saying nothing to you because you're staying with it. You're staying with it. Kevin and John are the ones switching up because they're saying Jokic is better than Luka right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is.
Now,
and I'll tell you what changed. I can tell you
hold on. You can tell me what changed after I tell you this. You told me the best player in the world is Jokic right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He won MVP.
Yep.
How far did he make it in the playoffs?
Second round, Game 7.
Second round, Game 7.
Yeah.
2021. Jokic was the MVP and got kicked in the second round. Who did you two just tell me was the best player in the world?
Giannis?
Jokic?
Giannis at the time.
Oh, you're not talking to me.
I'm pointing to Kevin and John.
Oh, 2021? Yeah.
2021.
Giannis.
Because why?
Because he was the most well-rounded player in the league by far at that time.
Oh, now we're switching it up. He won Finals MVP. He won Finals MVP and was the best player throughout the playoffs. Yeah, was I wrong? Am I wrong?
He was the best player in the league.
There's a reason why you said Giannis. No, because you want to talk about well-rounded. Jokic did the same thing this year that he did in 2021. What's the difference?
He's a better defender than he was years ago. If you watch the game, he's a better defender than he was.
My language. No, it's
100%.
not.
Jokic is a much more feasible defender than he was in 2011. Yes,
that's the reason why. That's the reason, John. You know you're reaching. You know 100%. You're reaching.
If you watch basketball
he's a lot smarter.
He's Jokic play basketball, he's a much better pick. He's better in the pick and roll. His IQ is much better defensively. You have to watch the games. He won MVP this year because he's better defensively. He's a much more.
He's more dominant. He's much more dominant this year.
So why did he win MVP in 2021? What if he was so bad defensively in 2021? Why did he win MVP?
Because his offensive numbers are ridiculous for a center. We've never seen this.
This year he wasn't. This year he was not.
No, he was. Listen,
He was.
I'm.
So again, you said Giannis was the best player in the world. Giannis took his team all the way to the finals and won the Finals MVP and had 50 points in Game 6. Jokic lost in the second round and won the MVP. This year, Jokic lost in the second round and won MVP. Luka took his team to the finals, lost, but averaged a 30-point triple-double.
What does Luka do for you?
The reason why I'm not saying Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum is we can all agree they are not even top 5 in the world.
Yeah,
Luka is.
we can agree. Luka is. I would put him 2 or 3 right now. He is still behind Jokic.
Again,
either way, you want to put.
And I'm not arguing that because you have kept to that point. You have not changed off. You have not veered. Kevin and John are the ones that keep veering.
No.
Because
In 2021, I believe Jokic wasn't the best player in the league. It was Giannis. I think Jokic.
So what's the difference between this year and 2021?
Jokic's defense has risen, while Giannis, he hasn't plateaued or anything. He hasn't gotten worse. But Jokic just made strides to his game that we've seen. He's a much better player than he was in 2020.
I think
we win MVP in 21. It feels so bad.
I think it would be a different situation if Giannis was healthy. I think that Giannis is still right around 2 or 3 in terms of players in the league, and I think we can all agree on that. And I think the argument to be had is him or Luka, not anyone versus Jokic. I think Jokic is the undisputed best player in the league, and until something changes to dramatically, it's gonna stay that way.
It's gonna be his age. Once his age gets up there, he's gonna go down.
But his game is not super reliant on it. His game's not relying on athleticism. He's more of just a big dude with a lot of skills. So I feel like his age is not going to be too much.
Yeah, but
as long as he stays healthy, he has to stay healthy.
You also got to take into consideration too is a lot of MVPs when they win MVP, they don't win it when they're at the back end of their career though. Am I wrong?
He's won a 3 at this point. He's just got to get his rings. MVP is out. It doesn't matter anymore. MVP is out the question. He's won. He's done that. He's got to get some more rings. He's got to just get some more other accolades. For Jokic, it's a different story. He's generational. Obviously Giannis is too, Luka is too, but he's at that point where MVPs don't do shit for him anymore. It doesn't matter. You win more.
Jokic at this point has a conversation for the top 5 centers of all time.
100%. I put him in our top 3 all time.
To become higher, he needs more playoff success. He needs the rings. If he gets 1 or 2 more, you have that conversation.
I said if he has 3.
You have that conversation. But I don't know about top 3 right now. I think that's kind of crazy. I would definitely say
centers of all time. Yeah. Who just said top 3 centers of all time?
My best center is Kareem. It's Kareem. Best of all time, Kareem.
Okay. Yes.
You just told me Jokic is the top 3 center of all time.
Yeah.
Is he better than Kareem?
No.
Is he better than Shaq?
That's where it gets dicey. I feel like Shaq's 4.
No.
Not yet,
bro.
Not
come on,
yet.
bro.
Is he better than Wilt?
No.
I mean, come on.
Not yet.
Okay, I'll put him 4 then. I'll put him 4. Him and Shaq are dicey.
Yeah,
I would put him.
Dominant player of all time.
You also have Hakeem Olajuwon as well.
Exactly at 5. I would put him exactly at 5.
I'll put him at 4. I'm sticking by 4. 3 maybe, but I'll put him at 4.
I still have Hakeem above him
Hakeem's definitely above. The best 2 centers for me, it's Kareem, Hakeem.
Hakeem, and Will are above him for sure.
What about Shaq?
Oh, and Shaq. Yeah. So those 4 for sure right now are above.
Why are we forgetting about Will?
I said Will.
What about Bill Russell? You guys have Bill Russell top 5?
I consider him more power forward.
Who, Bill Russell?
Yeah. Bill was a 5. Bill was a 5. I think Bill was more.
Listen, people forget that Bill Russell was only 6'9". But he was tall for the age that he played in, which is why he was considered a 5.
No, hold on. No. I don't know because Charles Barkley was 6'4" and he was playing the 4.
Oh, I agree.
But
no way is Charles Barkley 6'4". That's gotta be cap.
and he's the best. He's one of the best rebounders of all time. But go ahead, Ken.
I mean, I just want to point out Ben Wallace is also 6'9", but he's probably one of the best defenders against Shaq at that size too.
And he's a 5.
I don't disagree with the fact, but again, I just consider Bill Russell more of a natural 4 than a 5. But that's just me. But again, back to the conversation at hand, like it's still Jokic. He's still the best player in the world. He has been since 2021.
This is about to be
Even
2
though-
hours of this shit, bro. Damn.
Listen,
No, it is. No, it is. No, but here's the thing.
Even-
D'Lo,
listen.
you have stuck to that. That's the thing.
even though he won MVP in 2021 and 2022, he didn't have any team success. I acknowledge that. That doesn't negate him from the best player in the world, because the eye test shows you, if you watch Nikola Jokic, is that he is on another level from everybody else in the league. And then you saw it in 2023. You saw the run that they made, and they won. Sadly, against the Miami Heat in the finals.
Welcome to my world.
Dude, I cry about it every night. Anyway, and you saw the dominance finally in the playoffs. I think that really solidified him as the undisputed for a lot of people. Even though, like, I had already thought that, I think it solidified himself as, wow, this guy is the best player in the world. And he continued it into this year. He won another MVP. I know we talk about how we think maybe Luka or Shea should have won it this year, but the fact is that Jokic won it. And so I genuinely just don't think that you can dispute it in terms of, obviously they lost in 7 games to Minnesota, and that's when, Anthony Edwards was still sort of on his ascension, I guess. He wasn't as good as he was in the first round against the Suns, but the role players around him stepped up more in that series than in the prior one. And Jokic just couldn't overcome that. But I just don't think that you can deny it based off of the one playoff run, like Jamal is saying, for Luka to establish him above Jokic. I just don't think that you can do it at this point.
And listen, that's fair. That's why you specifically, I'm not arguing that, because you have stuck by that. Again, I believe Luka is the best player in the world currently because of what he was able to do and how dominant he was in this playoff run that he has. And not even just during the playoff run, during the regular season too. Let's not forget, Luka was also in the MVP race. He was number 3. So let's not pretend like he was just 4, 5, 6. No, he was number 3. He was a candidate. And so again, D'Lo, I'm not arguing with you. It's these two at the bottom. It's because, listen, you can't get mad at me for saying Luka is the best player in the world, but then you say Giannis is the best player in the world in 2021. When Jokic did the same thing he did this year when he won MVP and got booted in the second round.
So can I just want to test something real quick. 2021, you all are saying Giannis is the best player in the world, yes?
Yes.
Jamal, you included.
Yes.
2023, we're saying that Jokic is the best player in the world, yes?
Correct.
Yes.
2024, I know you're saying it's Luka. You guys are saying it's Jokic.
Yep. Rocking with you.
2022, because Steph won, are you saying that Steph was the best player in the world at that point?
Personally, I did not. I think Steph was top 3.
So
I don't think he was number
in
1.
your opinion, who was the best player in the world at that point?
It would probably be either Jokic or Giannis.
Okay.
I think Jokic would have the edge, though.
John, Kev, you consider Steph?
I have to look back because
I'd have to look back.
what wasn't Embiid also dominant that year as well, or was it the following year?
The following year.
No, the following year, Joel Embiid won MVP in 23.
This is when the Golden State took Boston to 6 games and won the
remember that
finals that
season.
year.
Mhm.
In a team that had Wiggins, Clay, Poole, Draymond.
But Steph was absolutely
Steph was
a top
instrumental.
3 player. So Steph was absolutely a top 3 NBA player at that time.
I agree.
The top 3 was Jokic, Giannis, Steph, in whatever order.
Okay. So using your logic, Jamal, I'm just gonna say this. Steph had the best playoff run that year. Yes or no? So then
Yes.
why wasn't he considered the best at that time? according to your logic, because he was the best. He had the best playoff run.
The same reason why I don't think
Jaylen
Brown is a top player. The same reason why I think Jaylen Brown wasn't a top player. Look at his team. I mean, if you really look around, right? If you look, even if you look at the Mavericks, this year. Was Kyrie good in the playoffs? He had a decent series against the Clippers. I didn't even know if he played the rest of the playoffs. Luka carried that team to the final. There were some shots made, but there were some big shots made in between. Derrick Jones made some big shots. Kyrie made some big shots. PJ Washington made some big shots. They all have their moments, but consistently, Luka was the most dominant player this year throughout the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not even just the playoffs. I know we're talking a lot about the playoffs. The regular season. Again, let's not pretend like Luka wasn't top 3 in MVP race, and he didn't lead the league in scoring this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's multiple reasons why I believe Luka is the best player in the league. And at the time, again, 2022, Jokic. What did the Nuggets do in the playoffs that year? They lost to. Even then, the Mavericks lost to. The Mavericks lost to the Warriors in the conference finals, and the Nuggets lost to the Warriors in the second round. And who won MVP? I think Jokic won the MVP that year.
Yeah.
Right? 2022, because he won in 21 to 22.
Yeah.
So that year, again, Steph, Jokic, and Giannis in the top 3. Again, I don't care how you put it. Those are the top 3 players that year. But the all NBA first team that year was Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, and Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, Giannis might have been the best player in the league that year. Obviously, he did that was the year he ended up getting hurt. No, he didn't get hurt. He lost to Boston in the second round.
I looked it up. So this is the year that Golden State won, and they beat Denver in the first round 4-1.
First round.
It's also the same year that Dallas won in 7 in that series versus Suns.
Yep.
Golden State then went on to beat Dallas, and then that's the year that Boston beat Miami in 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
again,
in terms of their run, they beat the Denver Nuggets. They then beat the Memphis Grizzlies in the second round, and that's with Ja healthy, and then went on to beat Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
In that run, Steph averaged 27, 6, and 5. And then in the finals, went on to average 34, 6, and 4.
That's crazy, 34.
Yeah. So, I mean, again,
it's a lot of things, for sure. Eesh.
Again, there's a reason why he was a top 3 player that year. But again, this year, Luka Doncic had a run, I believe, even better than that.
Okay.
He just didn't win it all.
I just wanted to see if your logic was consistent. Because according to that, Steph would have been the best player in the world at that point.
But again, the finals MVP is, I think, solidifies you at least top 10. But when you're finals MVP, when you're an all NBA first team, or he wasn't even the first, Steph was second team that year.
Second team.
But when you're an all NBA guy, when you're an all-star, when you're all these things that add up to the finals MVP, that is huge. And that is what ranks, at least for me, that's ranks where you are compared to the other players in this league. But we're about to be 2 hours, so I'm going to close it out.
This is going to be the longest episode.
This has been really long, but it was
well,
good.
I mean, it's just us arguing against Jamal because he's got bad takes. I mean,
no, bro, because all 3 of you have a combined 1.5 brain cells. So
what did I do? I gave arguments for mine.
I did too. I don't want to hear it.
That's point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, John has the brain of an ant. So
No, I don't want to hear it. No, sir. No,
But
Listen, I was consistent with mine. You
that's
can't
what. No,
even hate.
that's what I'm saying. With you, I just argued your consistent take. That's only thing. I argued your take. I didn't argue the why of your take, because the why of your take was consistent. It was
my take
these
is
two at the
better.
bottom that were not consistent. Your take is your take, is what it is. That's what it. So, but again, that's gonna close it out, man. Really long, really quick outro, because again, I want to get.
You
hurry
can
up and
edit
try
it
and get
down.
this up. Huh?
You can edit it down.
Yeah, I'm not editing nothing down. I'm just going up. Like but no, I'll probably edit a little bit of it down. But that's gonna close it out. For D-Lo, John, Kev, yours truly. We're out. We'll be back sometime this week, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. But that's it. We out.